Hello friends, I'm back. It's been a while since I've done a YouTube video. I just thought I'll show you my favorite practice with the wall, so my favorite yoga postures to do using the wall as a prop. This is a very popular practice of mine that I like to share with my students, and you might find it useful, especially if you're feeling a bit tired, if you don't have a lot of equipment and other props at home and you want to practice and have a fulfilling practice for your body and mind. So all you need is a steady wall, can be like your kitchen wall like mine here, and a yoga mat obviously. So I'm using my Holistica yoga mat. This is the brand that is sponsoring our video. It's a beautiful mat that folds into a square, as you can see, and you can just unfold it and then it lies flat, unlike the mats that you have to roll in and out and then the edges are a bit annoying. So this is something that this mat offers that I personally really like. It also comes in beautiful colors. So thank you so much for Holistica for sponsoring our video. So I will set my mat like this. I might bring it a bit closer. Having the short edge pressed against the wall for the whole of this practice. And I will start seated on the mat. You can also sit on something like a cushion or a block if you prefer. But we are going to use the wall as our indication that our back is straight. So sitting cross-legged, I'm bringing the whole of my spine to press against the wall. There are a few benefits of working with a wall. A wall is a very unforgiving prop, so it is really straight and give you an indication how is your body in comparison to a very steady surface. It is also something you can find anywhere and is always the same. So blocks come in all different shapes and materials. The wall is always sturdy. It's always 90 degrees to the floor. So you can really compare and see your practice using this as a tool. So anyway, from here, I'm just bringing my tailbone down, my belly button a little bit in. It's a little bit annoying with a ponytail. I have to bring it a bit higher up. So the back of my head can also be flat against the wall. Chin is a little bit towards the chest, shoulders down and back. And I really want to feel the whole of my spine pressed against the wall. So creating this length in all of my vertebrae, from the pubis to the chest, from the tailbone to the crown. Just take a few breaths, finding this length against the wall. Then we're going into cat-cow movement. So I'm arching the back, taking my chest away from the wall. And then I'm bringing the tailbone down and I'm pressing my lower back to the wall again. So I can do it with my arms up, so you'll be able to see the movement of my spine. Tailbone down, back comes to the wall, and then taking the chest away. I keep my shoulders at the wall, and I keep my bum at the wall. So the movement is in my mid-back, working onto the stacking the pelvis motion that really feels the pressure of the back to the wall, engaging my core. Inhale is to arch. And exhale is to bring the back to be flat. Let's do two more. All right, next we're going to move for a twist next to the wall. So for that, I'm moving a little bit further away to a distance of about a straight arm from the wall. So it's right about here. Sit up tall, facing away from the wall, and you can be cross-legged or in either position. I will twist first to the right, bringing my left palm onto my right knee, and I bring my right palm onto the wall like so. So my fingertips are pointing to the right. My elbow is a little bit bent, and as I push into the wall, I can really go deeper into my twist. Take the shoulders away from the ears. Feel it in your shoulder blades and maybe look back at the wall. As I inhale, I bring my belly button in and I sit up taller. On the exhale, I peel the shoulders away and I go deeper into the twist. Two more breaths. with the shoulders down. Back through center, other side, right palm onto left knee, left palm back behind you, have your fingertips pointing to the left, sit up tall from here. I can really feel the stretch already through the front of my shoulder as well, and then as I lengthen and start twisting deeper, I can feel it also in my shoulder blades area, maybe turning the head to look back at the wall, trying to take the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist deeper. Beautiful. Coming back through center. Amazing. Next posture, our favorite, downward facing dog against the wall. So there are a few ways of doing. I like taking my heels onto the wall, taking a little bit of the pressure from the calves to try and really extend those heels down. We are creating a supported variation to really work on the length through the spine in this posture. So this is quite a restorative version of downward facing dog. I bring my heels onto my wall, shoulder widths apart, and I'm finding my down dog. Just to say, if you haven't done much downward dog before, first find your palms underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips. This will give you a good distance to when you lift your bum up, finding yourself in a good position of the down dog. And because our heels are high, they are nowhere near the ground, it is easier for us to stretch the legs, and we can really work on creating length through both sides of the waist. Pressing onto the palms, turn the armpits towards one another and bring the chest closer to the thighs. Let's breathe here. Feeling it through the backs of your legs, feeling it through your back and side body. You can also be a little bit lower onto a skirting board if you have skirting boards that are in a good height. Here I feel my calves a bit more. So you can play with the different height of the heels to see what works for you. As long as you're feeling the stretch, as long as you're holding steady, not shaking, the work is happening upon you in the posture. Alright, and dropping down onto your knees. Sitting back down. All right, let's keep going. So for the next one, we will continue with our downward facing dog practice. We're going to go into one-legged downward facing dog, which is when we go onto our palms and knees, heels close to the wall, tuck the toes under, press through the palms, lift up to your down dog. So I might come a little bit more forward just to have my heels a bit lower. Palms are shoulder widths apart. I press onto the wall, sitting bones to the ceiling. I want to keep my hips facing forward, so towards my palms, and I lift my right leg up onto the wall. Yeah. So here again, we have a really good support through the wall. We can feel the stretch through the legs, and we can really work on to try and bring this right hip down to square up the hips. Try to feel even through your palms, even through your waist. Belly is always a little bit in. For the mommies, pelvic floor is also always a little bit in, a little bit engaged as we are doing exertion, so harder variation for our body. Pelvic floor a bit in, and the right hip goes down. Left shin bone to the ceiling. Chest closer to your left knee. Let's try the other side. Bring your right foot down, heel onto your skirting board or just press in the wall, left leg up. Press onto your palms. See how the hips want to open out to the side? That makes it easier, but you're losing the alignment of the pose, you're losing the stretch. So, my necklace is annoying. So I bring my left heel down. The hips become square. I already feel it through the back of my right leg. I press evenly through the palms. Let's do pelvic floor, belly a little bit in to hold steady through the core. Armpits are turning towards one another. If you're forgetting that one, it always happens to me. I know I'm losing the back. Trying to bring armpits towards one another, chest to the knee. Breathe. And enough, bring your foot down. Downward facing dog. And dropping down onto the knees. Enough. Whew, not easy. A lot of effort onto the arms, effort onto the legs. So even though we have such a good support of the wall and we're using props and this looks like maybe a very subtle practice, as I said, it's an unforgiving prop. It makes you work stronger into your alignment, which makes your muscle work, makes your mind work, and be very mindful within your practice. And those are probably the most challenging aspects of yoga, to really stay mindful and work those details. We're going to move into Uttanasana, forward fold against the wall. There will be few variations we'll try today. First one is a 90-degree angle variation. That is not exactly. Yeah. And then we want to step away to a distance where we will have this 90-degree angle with the body. If you haven't done a lot of practice with the wall, it takes some time of playing with it, of finding the distance. So see, here I'm too high, here I'm too low. So I'm working my way to find it somewhere where it's about right. I will open my feet as wide as the mat for this one. Having 180 degree onto the outer edges of my feet. So outer edges of my feet are in line with my mat. And I will bring my palms as low as my hips when I lengthen down. So I want to create like a square position, 90 degrees in the body. I think I might have to be a bit closer. And then slowly, as I practice more, start to really feel this angle more. Bring my belly button in and press onto the palms. Shoulder blades are spread wide, armpits turn towards one another, and I lengthen through the neck. I want to feel my spine long, fingertips facing up. We're going to stay here and just change few variations of our palms to feel the difference in the stretch. Alright, so a few variations. We have our fingertips facing up, and then we go same thing, just fingertips facing out. And you might see that maybe it's a little bit harder for you in the different variation to gain this 90-degree angle. My tailbone goes towards my heels, belly button a little bit in, and I'm trying to create still the length through both sides of the waist. Press onto the palms, feel the different angle of your stretch. And allow the neck to be relaxed, which is another thing that tends to stiffen up every time we're doing something a little bit harder. Press onto your feet. Sorry, didn't open my legs as wide as before. Kneecaps in and up. So we're trying to do it with straight legs. If it's really hard, it's okay if you need to bend the knees. Finding your angle. And then we're trying the same thing, but with the fingertips facing inwards. I know for me it's a little bit harder, so maybe I don't go as low. I just try and work through it. Notice the sensation, tailbone towards the heels, breathing through it. Just go as close as you can to that 90-degree angle. I know those variations are more challenging. And the last one, which I found the most hard, is when the fingertips are facing down. And here I can probably only go as far as this angle. See how you go. It's really strong stretch for the front of your wrists. I still try to bring my tailbone under, so try not to arch the back just because it is hard to hold. Belly in, pelvic floor a bit in, and just go as low as you can. So the ideal is to find this 90-degree angle in all the variation, but it is really hard for me, I know. I don't have enough range of movement in my wrists, and I can really feel it in my wrists now. This is the lowest I can go. Alright. Coming out of it. So, as we start working onto the wrists and arms, we'll do a little bit more work, this time standing. So this is a beautiful variation, just standing, hand on the wall, and you have an arm length distance from the wall, just standing up tall. Press the palms to the wall on the height of your shoulder, fingers facing up first. We will do all the variations with this one as well. And so I'm looking straight ahead, and then keeping the palm where it is, I'm trying to turn and look to the front of my mat, and I really feel the stretch throughout the whole arm. It's actually quite painful. It's a nerve stretch. Breathing through it. And then coming back to center. Same thing, fingers facing back, so to my left of my mat. Don't matter if you do it a bit of a different direction, because we're going to try all the directions. So fingers facing to the left, body to the right, and then we try and turn the body away from your palm. Shoulder down. Try to soften, to calm down. I know it's quite painful. There's a lot of resistance in the body when we do this move. Let's try fingers to the right and step. This one's easier for me. And then let's try fingers down, so a bit of a crooked position of the arm, and step as far as your shoulder allows. So don't push it. These ones are, we really want to take it to a subtle edge. So say you don't go all the way facing the front, maybe you're somewhere on the way there. Just make sure that your shoulder and your arm are feeling reasonably comfortable. It is a stretch, but it's not a complete torture. And then back through center, let it go, other hand. So same thing, this time I will have to face to my left, fingertips facing up, and then I turn to the front, and you might feel more sensitive on one side than the other. Relaxing the shoulder down and really feel through all the front of my right hand, forearms in particular. Even the palm. Ouch. And then back. Let's try fingers to the right, body to the left, and then turn. So you don't have to hold for long. It's really hard to hold for long, these ones. Just breathing through it, walking through the different variations. Trying to relax the shoulders, relax the neck. The whole body is quite relaxed here. Just pressing the palm. And then coming back, fingertips to the left, body turning to the front. Not easy. And then we have one more variation, and then we're done with the arms. Move into something different, I promise. Fingertips go down. This one I find really crooked onto the shoulder, but we just try and see the range of movement. Here. Press onto the wall, stand up tall, breathe through wherever you feel it. And coming out. All right, relax the arms, the hands. This is enough. Those muscles get a good stretch. We don't get it through a lot of pushes. The wall really allows us to get into those deeper muscles in the arms and shoulders and hands. Next one. All right, so we're moving to a little standing sequence against the wall. We will move from Parshvottanasana, Viparita Trikonasana into Untitled Trikonasana, like a little flow of standing postures, but using the wall. So the wall, like I said, is an unforgiving prop. It forces us into the correct alignment in the posture, and sometimes it makes it a bit more challenging than it looks when you do the posture without the wall. So starting with Parshavottanasana, I have my right leg forward, my left leg back, and again, it might take a little bit of back and forth before you find the correct distance for you from the wall. You want to be in a position where your feet are exactly one in front of the other, so right heel aligns with left heel, and the palms are in the height of your hips, so you are basically parallel to the mat. And so this is something that is interesting. In Parshavottanasana, traditionally we have foot in front of foot, but when we are not using the wall and our palms are just say on the mat or on the hips, we can't really find the balance having the feet in this way, and so I always teach to be like tram tracks, right foot wider. But here, because of the wall, I can really experience the full posture when I have one foot in front of the other, both legs are straight, sides of the waist are long. Of course, if it doesn't work for you and you really can't stretch the legs, you can bend your right knee a little bit, or you can be a bit higher up. Just work with your distance from the wall to find a position that is supportive. So it takes a bit of walking forward, walking backward to find your posture. But once you're here, it should feel really supportive, and you should be able to press onto the wall and try and bring your hips to be squared to the wall. So this is where the work. We bring in the hips to be squared to the wall, the belly a little bit in, the tailbone a bit under. Breathing through the backs of the legs. Now let's soften the shoulders, turn the armpits towards one another. The neck is relaxed, continuous to the spine. Press onto the palms, hold it more. Right big toe stays down. Outer edge of your left foot stay down. Breathing through it, soft shoulders. Moving to Viparita Trikonasana, so twisted triangle pose. I like staying in the same distance from the wall. My right palm stays on the wall. My left palm goes maybe onto my right ankle, or from the left side or from the right side. So it will be easier if the palm is onto the left side, you'll have more balance, but otherwise the traditional posture is to have the palm from the right side. I might have to go with my palm, right palm a bit higher, so I have more space to twist through the chest and try to look up. Ground onto your left heel, ground onto your right big toe. Take the shoulders away from the ears and twist more. Look up, not easy. Feeling the stretch through the legs, through the side of the body. Really a lot of effort here. The whole body is participating. Look up if the neck allows, if the neck is comfortable. Press onto your feet and twist more. And then come back through center. Same thing, Trikonasana Triangle. Keep your right palm on the wall, bring your left palm onto the hip. This should feel a bit easier. No, actually. Alright, and then we're going to turn to the other side. So come back through Parshavottanasana, both palms on the wall. Hips are squared, feet are solid. Bring your right palm onto your ankle. And then we turn to the left this time. So I might have to walk my fingertips up the wall to create space for my chest to turn. Lengthen through the left side, soften the right shoulder. I can't fully open the hips to the left here. It's a bit of a restricting position, but I get a nice stretch through the left side of the body. So let's just try it from here as far as you can. It's maybe not the most traditional way to do the posture, but I get a nice stretch out of it. Whew. Come back through center, palms onto the wall. Let's try the other side. So it helps to just step feet together and then right foot back, so you'll find the same distance, which is usually the comfortable distance for you. If you're not sure, still walk back and forth as much as you need to find where your palms are solid on the wall is supportive, the feet exactly one in front of the other, the back is parallel to the mat. Draw the tailbone under, belly in. Press onto the palms, hips are squared to the front. This is Parshavottanasana pyramid pose against the wall. I try not to flare my ribs down here, so tailbone a bit under, belly a bit in. Left big toe grounded down. Right outer edge of the foot grounded down. Lengthen through the waist. I keep talking to keep your mind in your body. Armpits towards one another. Shoulder blades wide. Press onto the palms. Right hip forward. Breathe and soften where you can. Breathe a little bit more. Going into your triangle, reverted triangle pose, sorry. Right palm goes down onto your ankle, maybe just from the right side to make it a bit more stable, or all the way from the left side. Start twisting. Adjust your left palm as you need. Trying to align shoulder on top of shoulder. If it is hard, bend your front knee, that's okay. Find your position. Try and look up if the neck allows. Left hip goes back, right hip goes forward. Breathe, long legs, long waist, long arms. Finding your longest position. Belly a bit in. One more breath. Change. Coming back the same way you entered into your Parsvatam. First, finally, after doing the twist, it feels very easy to be here in the center. Feels like no effort at all. And then we bring the left palm down onto your ankle and we twist to the right. So as far as you can feel the opening through your left hip, but it is not as open hip position as the triangle really should be. It's just a variation. So take your shoulders away from the ears, find the length through both sides of the waist. You can look up. Oh, my arm is already shaking. Finding a lot of length everywhere you can think. Belly a bit in. You're going to have the fingertips on the floor. Interesting variation of the pose. Coming back through center. Both palms onto the wall. Bend your left leg. Step to the wall. We're going to do Uttanasana against the wall, different variation. Step close to the wall. Take your body to the side and down. And we're going to press our shoulder blades to the wall. So just step as close as this position allows for you. It's really nice. You want to feel both shoulder blades on the wall, maybe palms onto your ankles, and maybe palms just hanging in between the legs. Knees can be slightly bent if you need, or straight if it feels good. But we really have this nice feedback from the wall holding us stable, so you can just relax into it. Even palms onto the elbows can be a nice variation. I think I want palms onto the ankles today. Just breathe through it, relax the head, the neck. Press shoulder blades against the wall. Whew. It's very supportive variation. You can stay in it a bit longer than usually when you're inverted. But we just need to treat it as an inversion either way and make sure that we recover correctly so you don't get a bit of a spin in the head. When you come out of it, like I said, we want to be careful. So hold your hands, go through the side the same way you entered. And then I like to just put one palm on top of the other. Rest the forehead down. Bringing the body back to normal recovery. Alright, and another nice posture that is also a recovery posture, but you have the head down, is just to sitting back onto your wall. You can be close or further with the feet. You can play with the distance to see how the stretch feels. And I just fall down on top of the legs. So again, the wall offers support. It changes the experience of the posture. You can be a bit closer or you can be a bit further. See how it changes the sensation in the pose. This should be relatively relaxing. I find it quite relaxing at least, especially when we feet more forward. The back can be just soft, round, relaxed, head down. So after this little relaxing one, we're going to move into a bit of a deeper few postures. They might be a bit more intermediate to advanced levels, so see how you go. Just what we did so far is already a great practice for all bodies, so that might be enough for you. You can keep the next section for when you're ready, for when you practice a bit longer. Otherwise, you're welcome to try. So we roll the spine, we come out of it, and we're going to start going into our standing split against the wall. Looks like that. Same, oops, big boom. Same like we went into our downward facing dog position against the wall, and we lifted our right leg up, but this time I try and walk my palms closer to the foot. Maybe I put my shin on the foot. I try to basically split myself on the wall as far as I can. See how far you can go. So mine is probably about here today. Lost a bit of flexibility after having baby. Just have a bit more. Let's try. Breathing through the backs of the legs. Just be careful. Go to the distance that your body allows. Breathing through it. We won't hold for long. Just relax the head. And then walk your palms more forward. And bring this right foot down. Down dog. Other side, let's go straight away. Lift your left leg up, so you can just even stay in three-legged dog if that's enough for you, if you're maybe a bit more of a beginner. Otherwise, try and split it on the wall. I'm pointing the left toes, bringing my chest closer to the knee. Still trying to square the hips. I know it's hard in this one. Trying to keep the shoulders soft, trying to really sit myself into a split on the wall as much as I can. Let's do 2 more breaths. Alright. And down. Not easy. Let's rest for a moment. Right, next inversion with the wall, we're going into a handstand. Few variations, again, depending on your level. You can try all, you can try one of them. So for your handstand variation, we'll go through 3 variations. First variation, probably a little bit more beginner friendly, working on to creating length through the back and engaging the core. For that, we need to sit with our feet pressed against the wall and find the distance of straight legs. This is just to measure the distance you should be in the wall, again, away from the wall. So again, trying to create this box position, 90-degree angle in the body, but this time upside down. So where my hips are now, this is where my hands should be when I am in the box position. That way I know that I'm exactly in distance of straight leg from the wall and my body is in a 90-degree angle. It's really hard to feel it on your own when you're upside down, so it helps to measure first. So I turn around and I remember where my palms needs to be, which is where my hips were. And then I try and climb my legs up the wall. And first just climb them as high as they go. And then try and descend them down until they are in line with your hips and the belly button goes down, goes in, tailbone up, press through the palms, feel like you're trying to create length through your back. Legs are straight, palms are pushing, hold. And you can try it a few more times. So this is a lot strengthening onto your arms. You really need to pull the belly in, tailbone up to the ceiling to try and hold steady and to take the pressure from your wrists. So coming back to inversion after having a baby, it really took me a while. So if you're in the same situation, that's totally fine. I'll try and show you the other 2 versions. See how I go as well. It's not that easy for me either. So one is just our regular handstand against the wall. which is when our palms are quite close to the wall, and you can play with it, start a bit further, or actually probably start a bit closer first, and then you can walk it further away. Maybe eventually you can do a handstand without the wall as well. You're welcome to try. Palms are shoulder widths apart, fingers are open, lift up to down dog, walk your feet closer, and then we kick. So I would kick one leg up and lift up into a handstand. Flex the toes, heels to the ceiling, belly in, tailbone to the heels. Push, push, push. Let's try and hold for 5 breaths. Or attempt for 5 breaths. Maybe you kick a few times. Try not to crunch into the lower back. You see this? I'm trying to lengthen rather. And the third variation is to actually try and sit my bum back onto the wall. To have a bit of a back bend. You can try that for a few breaths as well. So either here or here. Woo! Alright. Can attempt a few more times. You can rest. You can even attempt again the 90-degree angle. See how you go. It's your practice. Those ones are not easy. They really puff us out. We have a few more postures after this. I just didn't want you to do the handstands when you're the most tired already at the very end. So we're somewhere in the middle. Oh, probably a bit after the middle, don't worry. All right. Whew. So, moving on from here, let's try and do a bit of leg strengthening. We will go into our squat against the wall. Really pregnancy, postpartum friendly posture. Step your feet a bit forward. Sit your hips back onto the wall. Tailbone under, belly in. Let's just squat down. So again, you want to have this 90-degree sit as much as you can. Tailbone under, belly in. Squeeze your pelvic floor in. Lean against the wall. Let's stay here. So you can time yourself for a few minutes. I will just count maybe 5 breaths, so not too long of a hold. We've done a lot already today. So let's go 5. 4. 3. 2. I know it's very slow breaths. Giving you a bit of extra time in it, a bit of extra suffering. 1 last breath, I promise. Palms onto the wall. Come out, come closer to the wall. Bring your arms up. This is like fish pose with the wall, keeping the hips and the wall, bringing the crown of the head down. So you can have your hands maybe onto your bum or in front of you if you have the balance. It's quite hard to keep the heels close to the wall and bring the crown. Bit of a challenging posture, so palms can be here, also can be here. Or up. Ooh. Or even just on the hips and just work on the back position, feeling it through the front of the neck. Oh, my mic is up. Sorry. So trying the variations. Oh, flat back against the wall, belly in. All right, and we're going to move into a bit of a deeper stretch. Quad stretch against the wall. This is one of my favorites. I bring my left shin to the wall, point the toe, and then I try and step my right foot forward. So this is like a very deep lunge. I feel it through my left quad. And then maybe here is enough for you. This is already a lot. Maybe you can lift up with the palm onto your knee. And so the heel is beside your hip, so try not to sit on your heel. Have it a little bit beside so you have space to move your hips to the wall. And eventually the goal is, I have my table here close by, so I can push off that. But I want to bring myself closer and closer to the wall. Tailbone down and trying to bring that back closer to the wall as far as I can. Breathe in here through the left quad. So any distance from the wall is okay, as long as you're feeling that stretch. The shin against the wall is already a lot, creating deep edge onto the quad, so just be careful. Just find your position. But eventually you want to align the whole of your back body, including the right hip, ouch, with the wall. It's not easy. And relax. Oh, other side. Right shin to the wall, left leg forward. Have your right heel beside your right hip, so we're not sitting on the right heel, it's a little bit to the side. Stay in here, maybe coming up, palms onto your thigh, and you see how my bum is away from the wall. I really want to try and press it in, but it's a process. Yeah, it hurts onto the quad, and especially if it starts hurting on your lower back, just be careful. The tailbone still have to go down, the belly should be a bit in. So if you're a bit further like this here, that's all right. Working towards bringing yourself to the wall. Again, the wall is a very solid point. It's unforgiving prop. It's not going to move towards you. You have to move towards it. You can really measure your progress in comparison to this very solid prop that is not changing. Belly in, tailbone down, pressing back with the whole body. Shoulders soft. Try to calm down. Breathe into this right quad. And enough down. Okay. All right, a little bit more to go. We're going to lie down onto the back. Actually, before we lie down onto the back, we're going to do one more back bend standing, just as we stretched out through the front of the body a lot with this quad stretch. You're just trying to basically bend backwards. So we've done the fish pose, which is maybe a bit more of a simpler back bend, and we've done it maybe in the headstand variation if you got that. And we are going to just do it standing. So the further you will step from the wall here, the harder it is will be for you to reach the wall. So you will need the deeper back bend to get there. So you can play around with it and see how far you are when you are trying to bend back. Say I will start here where my holistic brand mark is, so I'll know that that's where I started. I will lift my arms up, belly in, tailbone under, lift the chest, and I start bending through my back until I see the wall. Fingertips reach to the wall, chest breaks through forward. So try not to fall back onto the wall, because then you're losing your back bend, yeah? The back bend should be in the chest, not only in your lower back. So you have to try and have this arch. So here I reach the wall and I lift through the chest. Maybe I can step my feet a bit more forward. Tailbone under, belly in, chest up. Head goes back. See how far you can go in your bend. So the chin doesn't have to go back like this. You can also do it with chin tucked to the chest. If the neck doesn't feel comfortable, you might still be able to have this bend, pushing the shoulder blades in, having the upper spine bending. Just keep going. You can try a few times. Protect your lower back. I just want to remind you something that I always say in my classes when we're doing back bends. The tailbone actually should be down in all the back bends. The lower back trying to create length. So try not to let yourself arch through the lower back as much. Actually, what happens when you arch through the lower back, you bend it forward rather than bending back. So here should be long, and the bend is here in the stiff bit in between the shoulder blades, where the chest lifts up and really break through into this bend. I'll try one more time here where the horns start with the elephant. Lift up, lengthen through the tailbone, belly in. My chest is leading my bend down, 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 down. When I want to come back up, I can also support my lower back to come out, so that might be helpful as well, especially if you're starting to feel the pressure. Whew. All right, another back bend. This time we go bridge on the wall. It's a bit more strengthening. So feet close to the wall, so toes close to the wall. We're lying down onto our back. And again, if you haven't done a lot of practice with the wall, you might need to back and forth, wiggle until you find a position that works for you. Going to lift into a bridge. So palms are beside the body, tailbone towards the heels, lower back flat on the mat to start with. Inhale and lift your hips up, butt can be squeezed a little bit. And this is your bridge. From here you can just do that might be enough. Or you can lift your right fingertips onto the wall and try to press from here, which I find really helpful to lift higher. Trying to keep the hips squared, push onto your foot, very interesting posture to feel on your body. You can play with how close you are to the wall. I feel like I should be closer for my practice. I lift higher up here. Whew. Press onto your left foot, press onto your right toes. Lift higher, 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 higher. Bottom ribs a little bit in, tailbone towards your heels. Chin comes close to the chest, soften the shoulders. My arms are relaxed. And down. Other side. Right foot, toes are touching the wall. Let's just lift up first, yeah? Tailbone under, lower back flat. Lift. And then left foot comes down onto the wall, comes up, sorry, and we lift from here. So try not to let the hips twist. Keep them facing up. Press onto your right foot, tailbone to the knees or to the heels. Arms are relaxed. I'm not pushing with the arms. Lift higher, higher, and higher. Beautiful. Lower down slowly. Ooh. Bring the knees to the chest. Amazing. Few restorative postures to finish. We will go with legs up the wall. Viparita Karani. For this one, just come to lie as close as you can to the wall with your bum. So I shuffle through the side. It's a bit hard to enter. Might be a bit awkward like this till your bum is pressed against the wall and your legs are into the sky. So if you really push the bum to the wall, it's just so much more comfortable. So it's worth it to wiggle and wiggle and wiggle until you're really feeling the pressure. You can press through the palms like this and slide yourself in. And reflex the toes. And so this is Viparita Karani, beautiful posture for varicose veins in the legs, for blood pressure, for fertility. Whole body is soft, toes can be flexed, you can just relax the legs. You can also do variations like opening the legs wide out to the sides, bringing the legs into butterfly, which is a nice one. Or my favorite recently is happy baby, so having the feet wide out, knees towards the armpits, like that. Pressing myself closer to the wall. Whew. Almost like you're squatting on the wall deeply. Tailbone goes to the wall. I feel my lower back flat. And I can really soften here. It's very relaxing. Arms can, boom. Arms can go to the sides or up. Choose your variation or move in between the variations. Let's enjoy it for a bit longer, this one restorative posture, for another 5 breaths. I won't count, just your own rhythm. Amazing. Bring your knees to the chest. A little bit more restoration here. We'll go to a glute stretch against the wall. So stretch your left leg onto the wall. Bring your right ankle over the left thigh. That might be enough here. You can even be a bit further away from the wall if this is a lot still. If you want to make it stronger, then keep the hips close to the wall and bend your left knee. The more you will bend the knee, the deeper the stretch will become in your right glute. So find your variation. Hands can be relaxed. You actually don't need the hands to hold your left leg, as in this posture we usually do, because here the wall is holding your leg, and this is the most stable prop, so it will never let you go. You can know for sure that you will stay in the position, so the rest of the body can just relax. Breathe into the right glute. And let's change the sides. Use your hands to come out of it. Right leg can go up, left ankle over the right thigh, or you can bend it, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot. You will see different level of flexibility on both sides. Here on this side, maybe I just want it here. Yeah. So find the depth of the stretch that you need for your body for today. We worked a lot, done a lot of strengthening. Let's take the time for a fulfilling, complete recovery. Again, if it's a lot, you just stretch the leg up, or you move your butt away from the wall a bit. This will also ease the edge on your left leg. As you can see, for this whole practice, you just need the mat space and the wall space. We don't really go too much to the sides in this one, so you can do it anywhere at home in a small space environment. Yeah, don't really need much. It's the yoga mat. Really, you don't have to even have a yoga mat. You can do it on a rag or on the floor. Alright, and for our last posture, just come out of your glute stretch, roll over through the side. Just going to do a little bit of a balancing stretch. I like finishing my practice with this one, having the soles of the feet pressed against the wall. You really want to have them pressed strongly, so for this I first have my knees bent, feet pressed, and then I drop down onto my back and I try to stretch my legs without moving the hips. So we'll do one at a time. I bend my right knee to the chest and I try and stretch my legs without moving the hips. So I can't completely not move them. Yeah, maybe a little bit. So here. And that way I really feel strong pressure in between my wall and my foot. And if it feels loose, just come a bit closer, bend the knees again, and again try to straighten. Feeling that pressure against the wall, it really gives you such a beautiful support. You can relax your right foot and bring your right knee closer to the chest, feeling the hips, the lower back pressing against the wall. Soften the shoulders. Beautiful posture for digestion, very relaxing. Finding this balance. The right leg completely relaxed, left leg is active, pressing through the wall. So the legs do opposite things. This is also a bit of a mind practice for many of us. And we change. Again, just to have a really quality stretch here, I first bring myself back into the bent knees position. I then bring my left knee to the chest, and then I stretch the right leg with minimal movement of my hips to have a really good grip of the wall. Left leg is relaxed, press it in. Soft shoulders. Closed eyes. Right leg pressing the wall, staying strong. Left leg completely relaxed. Back is flat on the mat. enough. This is enough for today. You can go for a little shavasana. You can have a quiet meditation at the end of the practice. Whatever helps you to seal your practice the right way for you. Otherwise, I will meet you next time. Hopefully, we'll do a couple more videos within the next week. Thank you to the brand Holistica for sponsoring our video today. Beautiful yoga mat. I really enjoyed practicing on that. Definitely recommend, especially if you don't like those mats that are rolling and are lifting the edges. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the practice. If you have a wall, that's all you need to do it. So hopefully it's available for everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Anna. Namaste.